Hello, my name is Charles Harrison, and I'm going to do my presentation for my final project in my class of World History. It'll be significant developments and experiences throughout world history and their impact. The four key topics I chose to do my discussion on is building empires, power and politics, economics, and revolutions, and how these key topics intertwine throughout world history and their impacts that they had on the societies that they were involved with. Building empires, power and politics. For political purposes, politically, an empire is comprised of a group of states or countries under one supreme authority. The most prominent in history empire in history would be the Roman Empire. A good example of political ways of building empires. The Roman Empire held an illusion called primus inter pares, which translated, this means first among equals. This is an illusion that they created that allowed power through fear, which is prominent in pretty much any empire. Politically, only the upper class had some sort of say, but the first had the final say politically. Empires are also commonly associated with a hereditary line of successors, which leads to incompetent leaders who were handed power rather than earning it, enjoying the shade of the tree that was planted before them, but not understanding how to get the tree to grow and where that leads. As far as power, when discussing the Roman Empire and the British Empire, two prominent empires in history, a lot of the successful growth in each was due to colonialism and infrastructure and public works. By building mass networks of roads in Rome and railroads in India, a colonial state that was obtained by the British Empire, it allowed for growth in the power held in each empire. Colonialism helped the growth of the surrounding regions in Rome, and in British Empire's entry into India created a growth of education and modernization, which significantly impacted India as well as the surrounding regions in Rome. As far as economics go, when building empires, Roman economics, with the mass network of roads in Rome and the focus on infrastructure economically, the population grew and resulted in a supply and demand focus. By meeting the needs of the citizens and creating outlets like gladiator fights and entertainment alike, the elite class was able to hold the illusion of equality and obedience through fear of not meeting basic needs. As the supply grew, so did the economy and the need for other outlets for distraction from the illusion being unveiled. This was a way that the elite was able to control the power that they had, which in turn helped build the empire to what it was in its height. In the British Empire shifted from an agricultural society to a commerce society, and as a result, it led to mercantilism. This helped build the empire on a global scale by limiting imports and focusing on exports through tariffs and other legal means of economics. Through this, can limit personal growth of an individual, but on a country scale, it led to increased wealth for the ruling elites and in part the country. There are benefits and downfalls of mercantilism, but it led to the ideas of modern free trade, and that freedom creates growth. As far as revolutions go, the Roman Republic led to a revolution creating the start of the Roman Empire due to the stagnation in the economy in Rome, slave revolts, and military dissension. The stagnation was due to political classes creating routes that only benefited them. This created harsh living for slaves and the population overall, which led to slaves um, pulling away and revolting, and also the people um, not having sufficient needs being met, and stagnation through stagnation. With the military dissension, um, the population as a whole decided to revolt, and a revolution ensued. With the division in the ruling class and military were more dedicated to certain leaders rather than Rome itself. This led to a divide and resulted in dissension. The French Revolution, through all of its confusion between parties united behind a military leader, Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon created the first French Empire and led the military into numerous battles trying to build his empire, but overall outstretched his limitations and resulted in destruction and chaos. Both the Roman and French revolutions were led by political motivation and fear, resulting in the people looking for someone to provide for them, which led to a supreme authority rather than an individual one. For power in politics, economics, two prominent or a prominent distinction from Aristotle. When discussing politics and power, economics plays a huge role in how the society functions. Isaac Newton saw politics and power as a machine with each function playing a part. Aristotle, in his idea, breaking economics down to a two-part system, functions in a similar way. Politics distinguish what is right and wrong morally for a society to survive, but also thrive, as the economy is distinguished into wants and needs in order to survive and then build for comfort. As far as law, societies from Hebrew to Greek, Roman to Indian, all had an economic set of standards that revolved around morality. Laws are moral or sometimes immoral standards that a society or elites deem necessary in order to maintain power or civility. Economics are part of that standard to ensure chaos is prevented or that power is held. Trying to maintain that standard can lead to destruction or bountiful growth. As far as revolution, corruption can play a huge part in power and politics. When the ruling class of society creates a standard that is unlivable, it can cause revolt. This standard is driven by greed or corruption. In order to obtain power, from the French Revolution, the Roman Revolution, and the American Revolution, we see a struggle to maintain power by the ruling class and a standard of living under the thumb of an oppressor, which creates disorder and causes revolutions. Shifting powers. As power shifts, people die, fighting for freedom or fighting for control, depending on what side, the revolutionist or the controlling class. This leads to overthrow of a system and replacement for said system. Sometimes this result leads to independence, like in America, and sometimes it leads to forfeiting freedom for protection and comfort, like in Rome and France. As far as economics goes, with the revolution, the French Revolution was due to many issues, economics being a primary one. As population grew, so did unemployment. As population grew, so did the need for food and scarcity. The government owned majority of the land as well as national debt that forced intervention from anything from fixed prices to wages, and then obviously corruption. This led to a revolt of the people and the military. In the Roman Revolution, in the Roman Republic, we see many of the same issues resulting from government intervention, from taxes to war. The people were stripped of what they had, coupled with an unstable currency income and inequality grew, and trade relied heavily on slaves. When the military expansion dried the treasury up, inflation grew, and so did slaves and trade. With transactions low, aggression rose, and this led to a revolution of the people and the military. In conclusion, when building empires or establishing constitutional republics, the power falls in the hands of many or the hands of few. Political structures shape the outcome of the future of the nation. From economics to law and standards, the machine benefits the few or the many, but is regulated through agreement or revolution. Throughout history, many forms have taken shape and few have survived, but all have derived from each other, creating many great ideas and governments today. This doesn't mean they aren't prone to failure or guaranteed success. Keeping what has worked or progressing past what has failed, determining what is best, is different for each person or government. I believe the way the United States of America has been set up has been the best system yet, as we can plainly see through corruption comes when comfort settles. An illusion of progression is set in place in order to obtain control, pushing past protections that are ensured through the Constitution but given from a divine creator. We will fall into fear and a need for protection, or use our muscle of freedom to push past the struggle and maintain the foundation of our nation. Time will tell. As it has been said, history doesn't repeat, it rhymes. That is the end of my presentation. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.